great sleep, and the alarm wakes me right in the middle of this awesome dream where I'm actually spanking someone. And it wasn't disciplinary. I wasn't angry. It was just a fun. They weren't even bent over. I just remember a bare butt, jeans pulled down, spanking.
Where
So,
were you in this dream?
I don't even know. I don't have
Oh,
any
okay.
concept of whether I was at home. I have no clue. But it's such a good
It's a
dream.
dream. The beauty of
Mhm.
imagination, ladies and gentlemen, it's Christmas. Well, it's not Christmas, but Christmas is coming. It's December 22nd, 2024. We are honored to be spanked emotionally, physically, not necessarily physically, but emotionally, spiritually, by the magnificent. This is a legend we have here. We are all lucky to have our bottoms spanked by Lady Sublime. Keep in mind, we are adults. We are all adults. We're adults. This is consenting adults. This is for adults. This
Definitely.
is not for anyone under 18 years old. This is for adults. This is a culture. It's a lifestyle. It's a culture. Don't judge. That's why you're not getting spanked in
That's
the fun way because you judgy. You judgy. Oh, no one wants to be around judgy people. Stop it. It's the holidays. Ladies and gentlemen, please bow down, drop your pants, stick your buns out, and get
do
ready
it.
for a spanking. Please, with all of the respect you have and all the love you have, please welcome Lady Sublime. How are you?
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, you know the question, what's inspiring you these days?
Butts, asses that are white or light or any color. They can be brown, black. I don't care. I'll spank butts, but they need to be reddened. They need to be reddened. So butts.
That's good. See, you start out with a quote already. I'll spank butts. They need to be reddened.
Any butts, male, female, both,
I
gender fluid. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. There is a beautiful fascination with the butt that I have as well. I I'll say right now, Sunshine's butt is amazing. I love it. It is
Yes.
wonderful. Just seeing it walk, like it's magical. Just go across the room. Huh? I am taken back, literally. The beauty of the butt. So what inspires when you see butts? Do you just like get the urge to spank them? Like if you're in the street, like in the supermarket or something like that, do you have to like stop yourself to control? You're like, oh, stop!
Yes.
Like Evil
Yes.
Dead too.
Since I was young. Since I was young. Yes. I used to I used to pat people. I wouldn't when I was younger, I wouldn't touch their butts. So I would pat them on the head or the shoulder or the back or the arm or even the face just too hard. And I didn't understand until I was older. I have a friend, a Dom friend, who told me she's a psychotherapist. And she told me that it's called cute aggression. It's when you're overwhelmed with a positive emotion and you're so flooded with it, you don't know what to do. And I'll pet a dog too hard. I have to be really careful, not to pet pets too hard. And babies do it too. The little kids get overwhelmed and pet
Yeah,
dogs too hard. So it's an overstimulation thing. And I've done this
and
since I was little, and my family is annoyed by it, and my friends are highly annoyed by it. And they're all so happy I have an outlet.
okay, I've heard some notes that we could barely hear you. Let me bring up my mic volume.
Oh,
Is this better?
all right. Well,
No,
let me
mine,
try
me.
this.
I'm fine.
Ask.
I'm fine. You're no, no. I'm checking me. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay,
Sorry. You're
gotcha.
fine. You're fine. Sorry about that. I increased my mic volume. So let's go back. Impact therapy.
Gotcha.
Please explain. But before we do that, you said that there was a. We're going to talk about impact therapy. Sorry for the distraction. Let
That's
me
right.
get my bearings. You said that you had a condition or something that you like you. Please, what's how do you spell that?
It's called cute aggression, and it's when you get overwhelmed with emotions, and you're so overwhelmed you want to. You've heard people say, "That baby's so cute, I just want to punch it," or
Yeah.
something like that. That's a thing. You're overwhelmed with emotion. You can Google it. Google cute aggression.
Yes.
Chat GPT will tell you what it is, and it's just a flooding of positive emotion, and your body doesn't know what to do with it. And the way I handled it was to pet a cat or a dog too hard when I was a child, or I would pet my friends on the head over and like pat him on the head like a puppy. It drove him crazy. So they were very happy when I grew up to have an outlet.
One of the things you do is impact therapy. Now, there's impact play, but you call it therapy. Please explain.
Yes. Well, spanking can be therapeutic. And I learned this from Miss Chris, the dominatrix in Phoenix, Arizona. And I've taken some classes from her, and I'm loving having a mentorship from her. And she taught a class about kink and spanking, BDSM and spanking. And there is actually a bridge between it. The two worlds often don't know a lot about each other. And so she's trying to bridge the gap. And that's kind of become my mission too, to help her on that. She knows a lot more than I do about it. But I can give you the top point was that cortisol levels are very high before a spanking.
Mm-hmm.
And after a spanking, they will go down, especially over the next 2 days, to where sometimes they're absolutely nil. And they go down for both the top and the bottom, but especially the bottom. So I kind of be interested in see what switches do. You know, they spank and then get spanked, and you know, so they probably don't have any cortisol at all for a couple of weeks. So I thought that was very interesting. And so it is, spanking can be therapeutic, and it's not just disciplinary. It's not just, you know, the type your mama gave you, because I got the type my mom gave me hurt, and they were not consensual, and they, you know, they were fast and hard. There's no warm up. And you know, some spankings, you have a warm up and you have an endorphin buildup. You start slowly, so that, and it's just like in domination, you start very slowly. And to get a submissive into subspace, it can take an average of 40 minutes of, you know, psychological working with them. And that's
beautiful.
So this is similar, only they don't call it subspace, they call it bottom space and top space. Yes. And there is the same type of headspace in spanking. They will get this
I find it,
you know, space feeling, and they can take more pain.
I was at the Manor. Shout out to Mischief Manor. Everybody at the Manor. Happy birthday, Mr. Shari. So there's Catnip and Shari. Everybody at the Manor. But wow, did I see spanking last night? I felt proud.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I felt spanking. And there's this.
Tell me what type you saw. Tell me how they were doing it. How was it?
Well,
was somebody on a cross? Was somebody over a lap?
Let me tell you. I could talk about this forever. Okay, so all right. Think of it. So I'm sitting on the couch. Now keep in mind, I'm wearing a suit and tie, but underneath it, I'm wearing a corset and garter belts and stockings, and I'm locked in chastity. And by that time in the night, the shirt's open and the tie's out, and my hair's about, and I'm on the floor in a collar and a chain. And the magnificent Sunshine is holding the leash, is with her PVC dress. And we're sitting there watching. Ooh. And it's spankings galore all around. It's very, very inspiring. So there's the spanking bench. And of course, there's the people with the hands, you know, but there's just a wide variety of impact play toys, from paddles to canes to floggers, and having that at all disposal, and not just seeing that there in front of you on the bench, but there are multiple spanking benches and tables and crosses all over. So here I am on the floor, dressed with the collar on and the leash locked, and you know, with my queen on the couch, and we're looking at like a sea of spankings, and it's beautiful. And I thought
the sounds are wonderful. They're rhythmic. It's like going to a drum circle, hearing the different rhythms of all the spanks in a room where you have 30 spankings going on at the same time. I recorded it. I actually made a recording. I put my hand over the camera and recorded a room with about 30 spankings going on at the Lone Star Spanking Party last November. And it was interesting. I would play it, and people would send me a DM saying, I posted it, and they would play it and send me a DM saying, that was comforting. That was therapeutic. I want to show you something.
I want to, as a musician, I want to make a whole song of just, in all of the beats and the percussion of just spankings and moans. So it's like, instead of a drum set and drum beats using an MPC or drums or anything like that, you use samples of asses being spanked. So you could get different sounds with floggers and riding crops. What do you have there?
And they all make different sounds. This is my graduation present. Look what I bought. It's a kink bag. This guy makes it. That's a shout out to him. And no, I don't get paid by him. I don't get commission, nothing like that. But it holds everything. Kinksters, if you've got tools to carry, impact tools to carry. Now, granted, I do not have, there's a handle that goes on it, and I haven't read the instructions on how to install that handle, but that's the way to carry them around. That thing's great. So
That is
Kink
awesome.
Bags, I think it's called Lux Gear, Luxxgear is the website. Like I said, this guy's really nice, and that created it, that invented it. And I don't, get commission or anything like that. I don't work for him.
What within the kink
bag.
community, what I love about the kink community is stuff like that, is the people making toys, implements, or bags to hold the toys and implements, everything
Yes.
like that. The creativity is just it's amazing. Now you are what they call a classy spanker.
Okay, yeah, it's
What makes other spankers less classy? No, I told you I love the fact that you're a classy spanker. So let's talk about what it is.
I think it's there's not that they're less classy. I think what happened was when I was creating a profile, there's only so much room that you have. And I think I think it originally said something like classy Southern lady, mature spanker. And I had to shorten it. It shortened down to classy spanker. So it's not that anybody's less classy. I think that's just what it got truncated or condensed to.
Now, when it comes to spanking, I mean, I know what I love about it. And I've been thinking about why I enjoy spanking, why people enjoy spanking, especially like in the fetish community. It's like feet. It's something that kind of brings people in. Oh, everybody likes this.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost vanilla.
Yes.
But it's not.
Yes.
It can be too. So what is it?
I was a foot model until recently. In fact, I still do a little bit of content for feet. So I get it. And what's funny is a lot of people do not have foot fetishes. They don't get it. And that's another don't yuck another's young. Because some people, they can't even concentrate on work if the woman next to them is wearing flip-flops or sandals. So they have that much of a fetish. And others, it does nothing. It does nothing. So I get it. And then there's people that are kind of in between that, appreciate a good manicured foot or whatever.
And that's like
what was it about Attracted?
And his movies, they sell a lot. I'm sure the foot fetishes enjoy the Quentin Tarantino movies. So yeah, back to spanking. What was it about spanking that attracted you?
Like I said, I think it was just this innate desire to hit things, and it's a happy desire. And I've always been drawn to domination, so I just kind of combined this happy desire to dominate. Happy desire to spank with domination. And when I was taught spanking and domination, it's very much of a disciplinary measure. It's not what I learned in the SPANKO community. It's very different. It's often hard, fast, and used as punishment. It's not like some of the spankings for with spankos. I will sit on a bed with my back up against the headboard, and they lay across my lap, completely relaxed. And it's very percussive and rhythmic, and you kind of imagine. You know how when you get sometimes you get some sort of a body massage, and let me move these out of the way, and they do this on your back, and it feels so good. Kind of that percussive over and over, and they it feels good. And I've had someone go to sleep in my lap before. It does feel good. There's other spankings that can be used, and it's maintenance spankings. Some people use it as like this reminds me to not get in trouble. People that really need discipline in their life, it reminds them to not get in trouble. It's almost maintenance to make them stay good. And other people that truly enjoy spanking, it's their maintenance, it's their therapy, just like you would take a vitamin every day, or some sort of herbal tea that makes you feel good, that has what's the ashwagandha and stuff in it that makes you feel good. So it's some people use that, and spankings are not always fast and furious.
That's true. There's a whole art to it. There's 1,000,001 different reasons to spank someone, and 1,000,001 different reasons to be spanked. So let's talk about the first time. Not the first time, not being spanked for like as a kid or to being someone. I'm talking about for kinky reasons. First time being spanked. You're the person being spanked. What was the first time you were spanked for? They were like, "Oh, I like this."
I was younger. I was probably 19 years old. And the person I was with spanked me, didn't really know what they were doing. And the hand was hard and heavy, and he was an athlete, and it hurt. And I was like, this isn't for me. And then I got older and tried again. And the hand wasn't as hard and heavy, but still didn't know what they were doing. And hitting on tailbone, hitting on, the wrong bones, hitting on, SI joints, places where they're not supposed to hit. I was like, okay, spanking's just not for me then. Other things.
Now,
I was
what
switching.
about when the tables were turned and the first time you spanked someone and you were like, I like this?
That was also when I was still a teen.
Was it the same
And
person?
I did. Yep. Because he had a nice butt, nice and round. We all when we were young. So yeah,
Well,
I really liked to spank, and he didn't mind either. And he was we did kiki stuff back before there was. I mean, this is back when right. Remember there was what Betamax, and then there was VHS, right?
yeah.
And VHS was the inferior version, but Beta was superior. But that didn't win, and we had to drive all the
No.
way across town just to our porn, just for because we had a Betamax VCR.
You were beta porn, Betamax porn.
Yes. So that's how long it was. This has been. So
there's a little VHS. Did you have the thing that you had to put it inside the fake VHS thing to fool the other VCRs? There was something like that.
No, I did not. No, but the remote did have a cord connecting it to it. So even though it was a remote, it was still connected. Yes. It was a wired remote.
All right,
yeah,
we got to get serious. We got to get serious for a second. We're going off topic.
Okay.
What makes a spankable butt?
Any butt spankable. Any butt, and again, especially as you age, there's the fat moves around, and so you just got to be careful that you're not spanking on a bony area, someplace that's and some people, you're really supposed to keep it below the SI joint and above only on the buttock area. Some people really like the upper thigh. So if I get permission to do the thigh, some people even like the lower thigh, and the calves, but most people don't. So, if I get there, okay, consent to do lower. But typically it's just the butt area below the tailbone, never around the SI joints, in the meaty area. And a lot of people, especially as you age, the meaty area tends to go on the outside. Younger, it's more on the inside and more round. And I fall into the same category. It's just aging thing. It happens to everyone.
Okay, we have a question from a fan who does not want to be named.
Okay.
Did you ever spank a paraplegic or a quadriplegic?
I have not. I do have a lovely Dom sister friend who's her house. She's in a full-time FLR, and her partner has her sub has lost a leg to cancer. So I've never seen a paraplegic or quadriplegic, but I have seen somebody with one leg with hand crutches serve better than somebody that's fully able.
Right on.
There's a will, there's a way.
You said that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I had a liver
and top it off.
I was in the hospital bed. I still was emotionally serving. But
I'd still spank you in the hospital bed. It might be light, but I do it. I don't want to bruise you. You bruise easily with liver. No, but it can be done. Where there is a will, there's a way. And I've also known somebody who's in her 80s who has a 90-something-year-old sub husband. He still sleeps in a cage every night and still wants to be caned. So it can be done.
Hand or implement in your first time spanking? I'm talking like when you're getting into it.
First time, I start off with hands. I start off with a hand.
Okay.
If they, unless they're the type that says, I don't even need a warm up, because there are some pain people out there, pain loving people out there that don't really need a lot of warm up. But some people do like I always start with a hand. And, I say I'm not a masochist, but I do enjoy when I get into my own little top high or dom high. And sometimes I don't realize the pain in my own hand. Yeah. And I'll go on too long before I move. So I get into my own. So the only type of pain I really do enjoy is a throbbing hand. I'm proud when I get some bruising on it. Like, I'm going to show this off, take a picture on social media.
Shout out to Mistress Shari from Mischief Matters and Mischief Manner. Very first time we met on this show, actually. And her quote was, "I swear I have carpal tunnel from spanking people."
She might. I've already had the surgery. I might have it too. In fact, maybe that's why I got it.
All right. This is. I do want to. Did you ever make someone come in their chastity cage while spanking them? And before you answer that,
not while spanking.
Let me say this. So I'm asking this is because Sunshine locked me in chastity one day. I had to French maid out. I clean the house at least once a week. I fully get on the French maid outfit and I clean the whole house. Right. And I guess before she decided to spank me. And I usually get unlocked every like 2 or 3 days because she loves to fuck me. I'm really good at it. So I'm glad for that. Right. So, but still it I get sexed out. I get very horny. So she spanked me. I have a whole house to clean. And then all of a sudden something happens while I'm spanking. So I'm on the bed, the big petticoat. I'm in a big blue PVC French maid outfit, white garter belt stockings, heels, everything, the whole thing. And I have a house to clean. I have stuff to do. And he has to come along and spank me.
Oh yeah.
To set me straight. And then what happened?
Oh yeah, give you incentive.
I couldn't control myself, and I came right in my cage on the bed.
She hit your pudendal nerve several times.
So is that what happened?
There is a nerve. Yes.
Okay.
There's a pudendal nerve. And I recently learned about this from another friend at Lone Star Spanking Party. I knew it could happen. I just didn't know the science behind it. It's pudendal nerve. And men and women have it. Men and women both have it. Pudendal. Pudendal nerve. Men and women both have it. If you hit it in just the right place, long enough, hard enough, the vibrations can make them. And so I've had plenty of people get very close to orgasming, but nobody's come in their cage or without a cage while I spank them, though I know it can happen. Yes, I have made people come in their cage, just not spanking.
That's wonderful.
Yes, that's it right there. Pudendal nerve.
Let's talk about the types of spanking. So on your website, here's your beautiful website.
Thank you. My wonderful sub made this for me. I needed it for so long and begged, does anybody know how to make it? And finally I got to take her. Poor guy.
So here you are, and you're talking about, consultation, everything like that, live sessions. But here are the types of Sublime spanking. So let's talk about it. We have top spanking. What is top spanking?
I didn't know what else to call that. It's just to me, it's just I'm a top. I'm not doming. There's a lot of role play in the Spanko community. There are whole scenes, which is very much like domination. When you do a domination scene, it's very much role play in that. And it's usually total power exchange. With like a servant and a queen or something like that, master and servant type thing. In top and bottom with spanking, there's also can be a lot of role play. A lot of it tends to be disciplinary, parental, or teacher, or headmaster, headmistress, principal, coach doing the paddling. Here in the United States, we always got sent to the coach's office for paddling. I never got in trouble, but the kids would get sent to a coach. A coach is the one that handled the paddling back in the day when they still allowed corporal punishment, or you got sent to the principal's office if you're going to be like in trouble, in administrative trouble, and they're going to call your parents. So but in other countries, especially in England, they were caned in their schools, especially the baby boomers and older. I think they probably sometime during Gen X, I think caning probably went out. But there's a reason Pink Floyd sang, "We don't need no education, thoughts controlled." They had a very rough school system there, very, very sharp, harsh disciplinary system. So there are a lot of people that do like English discipline and caning and the very stern, strict. It's organized, whereas domestic discipline. That's your mom, that's your wife. You're in trouble. You just get yanked up by the arm and spanked really quickly. Now, that's not a top spanking, but it could be. Somebody doesn't have a lot of time. Okay. They don't have a lot of time for a role play. They don't have anything. Just come on in, get a spank. It's good for maintenance. It's good for people that don't need a lot of warm up. There's no steam.
That sounds fun too.
I think it is. I think it's wonderful.
Confessionary corporal punishment judiciary. Take us through that. This is where you get a little more imaginative.
Right. Confessionary often involves a lot of people that grew up with Catholic upbringing, especially Catholic educations, like the confessionary type. They want to confess their sins. Anglicans, that's another thing. They are called popeless Catholics, the Episcopals and Anglicans. So that's another one that sometimes those who practice the more, quote unquote, orthodox, forms of that religion will want some sort of confessional. A lot of people that need a lot of discipline in their life, they're so willing to confess anything, whether they, ate something they weren't supposed to when they're trying to lose weight. So it's a confession type thing, and they're willing. You don't have to get it out of them. They need to be disciplined in order
I want
to
to confess to
straight,
the drones
straight.
in New Jersey. Yes. Drones in Jersey.
Oh, you're gonna have a bunch of haters. If anything, for just confusing and scaring everybody.
And then there's so there's the confessionary, the corporal punishment. There's a sense of fear, a sense of intimidation,
Yes,
fear,
yes.
which is awesome, wonderful for the role play. But then on the flip side of that, there's relaxation percussive therapy. Please tell us a little bit, give us an idea what that is.
I am a Rennie, which is somebody that enjoys Renaissance festivals. And I have just as much fun camping in the campgrounds after hours. And as I do, I have more fun at the campgrounds. And that's when all the drum circles that go on for hours.
I love drum circles.
Drum circles. I'm a drummer. And I'm not good at it. I'm not very, I'm not.
Use your elbows.
Rhythm. And I use anything I can.
Use your elbows. That's the key.
I've got a djembe, a congo, a little bongos, and I've got some penny whistles, and I'm not very good at any of them, but I do love that kind of stuff. The percussive therapy reminds me very much, and I think the reason I like it is because it reminds me of being in a drum circle. I will sit there and get into the rhythm, and we're playing for an hour, and I don't realize how long it's been that I've been playing, and all I know is my hands are swollen and painful. So
and someone's like, "That's my butt."
Similar. So the percussive therapy, the way I see it, is just the same thing on the butt. And it's very, I will cut my hand to make my hand last longer. There's not a lot of slapping. And I do remember at Lone Star Spanking Party, they have, it's like a female type spank thing. And there was a nice lady that got on my lap for spanking, and she had some spinal issues. And, I was very careful to put my hand over one area where, it was obvious she had, I don't know if it was surgery or scarring, but she had a problem in this one area. There was a lump, and I made sure to avoid it. And I did just percussive all around. And you know how when your body hurts a lot and your muscles tighten, I think the percussive may gradually help the muscles relax. And she laid in my lap, and sometimes every now and then I'd give a harder swat, and she'd go, So I could tell that the endorphins were so good. And it reminded me of being in, when you do a guided meditation, you're awake, but you're not. And it was a good thing we were in a hotel, because if this was a private session, I would not have let her drive afterwards. She was that much into her deep subspace. It was like I pulled her out of a very heavy sleep, and I would not have let her drive. She was very, very relaxed.
What's funny about progressive therapy with butt drumming? You get such
butt drumming. I like that.
And you don't know, you don't know that if it feels good for anybody. It's like you forget. You're just getting the
I know, I forget.
And oh my God, this is not a drum. This is actual human being. This is actual butt.
Yes, it's actual butt, and they feel great. And similar to what you said, it turns me on to turn you on. It turns me on to turn others on. So if I'm making them feel good, then it makes me feel good. And that doesn't have to be sexually, it can be sensually anyway.
On your list, so there you have confessional, relaxation, percussive, but you have sensual spanking. You have sensual spanking and erotic spankings. Sensual spanking versus erotic. What is the difference, and why don't you do erotic spanking?
Sensual is just what it says. That is when I start it quietly, almost like a guided meditation. I want them to, and I will call out things like feel. It's the way a guided meditation. Take a deep breath. Feel the air in your lungs. Now I will say, feel me against you. Feel my arm against you. Feel the fabric. Feel the fabric of the bed. Feel my breath exhale on you. I feel your breath as you exhale. I talk a lot about the sensations, what they're seeing, smelling, if there's any sort of, candle or scent in the room, anything like that. I talk about, and I keep it very sensual. And and one thing I've developed a spank style that I haven't seen anybody else used. And I've since had people that have gotten spanked by me that said they loved it and they're coming back for more. And
You have a new spank style?
I did.
What is your
I
spank?
developed something that, okay. And I don't see, I think I'm not keeping it a secret. And that's something
Okay.
else that's, I think is
Have it out on this show.
Gatekeeping and BDSM. I'm going to tell everybody. I think my idea was to combine domination and topping. There's good elements of both, and I believe that they could be combined in spanking. And I didn't see a whole lot of domination in spanking. I saw more topping. So one of the things in domination is,
for those who don't know the difference, what is the difference between domination and stopping?
Domination, you're getting in their mind. Topping is mostly the act. You're having fun. You're doing the act of the spanking, the act of the and there's some crossover. It's like a Venn diagram. There's a bunch of crossover in between. And unfortunately, a lot of the people in the Spanko community don't realize that they're kinky into BDSM. They're like, no, I only like spanking. And a lot of people in the BDSM community don't think Spankos they think that they're like BDSM light.
Yeah.
I've seen Band-Aids. I've seen people's, I mean, I know that it's not, that's
I
not
love
true.
Spankos.
It's not,
goes out there. The kink community loves Spankos. Spankos in the kink community, we go hand in hand. They do,
and not enough realize that these Spankos don't realize
so
that the D and the S is dominance and submission. Well, they may be bottoming, but who's dominating? Somebody's telling them what to do by disciplining, and then they're redding their ass. That's pretty much submitting to them with consent. So there's a bunch of crossover, and a lot don't believe it. And I'm here to spread the news. And Miss Chris has a whole class on that I highly recommend people take. She's wonderful. She's got it all, slides and everything.
Shout out to Miss Chris. Miss Chris is amazing. Oh, yeah. Miss Chris is a force in it. I love Miss Chris. Anybody who has any love of spanking in the kink community at all should give their flowers to Miss Chris. Definitely.
Yes.
Please. I mean, yes. When I had her on my show. I get to
see her next month. I'm looking forward to it.
Luna Dark was with me on the show. We were talking, blew everyone's minds because she was just like, how did we get a ham? Just practice on hams. She's amazing. I love it. Great. So I went to Grok. You know what Grok is? Grok is the AI at Twitter. So these are the things that they said, the types of spanking. So I go, Grok.
Right.
We've been through so much. You know everything. Tell me what type of spankings that you have, Grok. And
hand
Grok,
spanking is hand spanking.
He goes, hand spanking. All right. Hand spanking. Good. And then he goes, paddling. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Belting.
Yes.
Whipping.
Yep.
And then the final one, which just sounds cool to say, slippering.
No, yeah, La Chancla.
I had to toss out. What's that?
What that is?
What to think about it?
Any Latin family, any Latino family knows what La Chancla is. And if you are the pasty white family that's raised near them, you're going to get spanked with that same shoe. They don't care.
Yeah.
Because this is back in the days when all the moms spanked all the kids in the neighborhood. Like they didn't care. And it takes a village, right?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
and it was a military neighborhood. Like, yeah.
I think there were some
very much into discipline.
I think there were some like people on the block who just liked spanking of the kids, who just like waited for the kids to do some shitty things on the block, just like come here.
That's such frustration. It does. They needed their cortisol levels to go down.
There was a guy on my block on Halloween who would go on his roof and like chuck like candy bars at the trick-or-treaters, be like, you fuckers, like, and they'd love them. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, that's like that cannon shooting t-shirts that killed Ned Flanders. Remember? I mean, they killed Ned's wife. Sorry, Ned's wife, Marge. I mean, or whatever.
Dad Vladimir has a question. What are your thoughts of spanking paddle made of Lego parts?
Now, when I read that, I went, oh, my thoughts never occurred to me, and this is awesome. And yeah, I'd like to try it if it won't come apart. Like you can 3D print it, if you can paint it with some sort of resin that holds it together. I never thought of that.
Yeah, you would, because as soon as you spank it, like that might be cool though. You make a big one, you work on it because you know the paddle will be disposable.
I'm not making it. They are so frustrating. I will make somebody else make that for me.
Yeah, you need someone who's like obsessive.
My sub is going to make that as a punishment. No, unless they like it, then it's not a punishment.
Now he asks, Stan Vladimir asked the Stan question: if you could have
Okay, that's
any
all right.
superpower, if you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it in your kinky time?
Mind control.
Mind control.
I would like to control others' minds.
Nice.
In my kinky time, it would make sessions. It would, I believe, I would be able to take people further into subspace because a lot of people can't get further into subspace because they're too into their own heads. They're like afraid, this is what if, oh my, especially men that are experimenting with feminization. A lot of them are very ashamed at first and have a lot of, and submissives in general. Sometimes they will just disappear after a session and you don't hear from them for a long time. They have a lot of shame. And so if I could get into their heads and get them past their own head and their own holdbacks and their own walls that they've put up, I think that we could get further and kink could be even more healing. Kink is healing.
That is so beautiful. That is so, because a lot of the friends that like I said, most of my friends are dominatrixes, and they complain. They say they're like, at like the post come, like people have men change after they have an
Oh
orgasm.
yeah. Oh,
You know what I
I
mean?
can't tell you. Okay, all the DMs I get before they have an orgasm. My whole thing is post-nut clarity is a bitch, and they're always really sorry, but I block them by then. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, when
any
you're
of the
horny,
peeps
don't write a dom. Don't write a dom when you're horny because you'll just make her mad. And just wait. Post-nut clarity is a bitch. You will not have access to her after that. Yeah,
post-nut clarity is a bitch. That's a good quote too.
Post-nut clarity is a
Post-nut.
bitch. Yeah.
So let's talk about the Dominatrix Academy now.
Yes.
This academy, shout out to everybody there, specifically. Oh my
Yes.
god. Oh,
Yes.
Mr. Nicole just did the
Yes.
show.
And Natasha
Magnificent.
DaCosta. Oh yeah.
Natasha DaCosta. All like everybody. There's one thing I love about the Dominatrix Academy is that when I got into the kink community, obviously you get through it, you get inspired by it through fantasy, right? And I was always attracted to the elegant and the sophistication
Yes.
of female domination. There's, as a male, I want to learn. All right, I want to be a better man. I want to be a better lover.
Mhm.
I want to be a better human
Mhm.
being. I want to contribute. I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution. You know what I mean? And I feel that.
We need more like you.
Thank you. Well, it's because of women like you. Seriously, and it's because of the Dominatrix Academy. They're churning out like people who are cool, kind, and people with an open mind. You know what I mean? And I
Exactly.
love this, and I want to do everything I can to be a part of it. So tell us about the Dominatrix Academy. How did you get involved? And tell us about it. Tell us about the application process and everything.
Well, it was really easy. The application. Okay, I'll start by I've been watching Miss Domiana Chi, her podcast, Lightworkers who play in the dark podcast, and had been following her on social media for a while, and even had shared her posts and read her articles and followed her Patreon and believed in everything that she taught about. I especially loved her psychology background to domination.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
I love how she taught what I now practice, which is, people practice SSC all the time, safe, sane, consensual. She adds the E to it, ethical, because there's too much unethicality out there. And I won't call anything out right now because we'll get a bunch of hate mail and haters, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a whole bunch of unethicality out there. I love the way she's busting that.
That's wonderful.
Because like I said before, I think a lot of the unethicality is because people are ignorant. And I don't mean that in a negative sense of the word ignorant. Ignorant is a lack of knowledge. And I truly believe they don't have the knowledge they need. And they're just doing what they see others do on social media or wherever. And you can't emulate people that are making problems or are not making problems, making well, it is kind of problems. Unethical domination is, some of it's very, very, anyway. So, I liked her approach.
Education.
I had already
Education is a beautiful thing.
Yes. And I love the fact that there are professional academies subs that they give constructive criticism to us as we're learning. and they, they will always put it nicely because you've got a bunch of strong personalities there. They don't want to piss us off and say, you sucked. Well, they would say, mistress, I felt that this was good. And I felt this would have been better if it would have affected me better if you'd have done this, this, this. And what's funny is one sub might say that, and the next one would say, no, I thought what you did was just fabulous. I was so turned on. So it enabled me to learn the differences, and it truly helped me understand the differences in subs and bottoms and the different types. They have their own, like we have domination archetypes. Submissives have what they call sub matrices or matrices, sub matrices. And they have their own types that they are. Not one sub is like another, and most of them are combination. Very, very, very top, very, especially the older you get. The older you get, the more experience you have in life, the more well-rounded you are. So there's a good chance you're pulling from, as you dominate, more than one archetype. And that's one thing that we are taught, is to be very well-rounded in all the archetypes, not strong in one, not strong. And don't be a cookie cutter dom, meaning you do the same thing with every single person that you're with, because not everybody is the same.
I look at it this way. And a kinky person, one kinky person. Well, that's it. You know one kinky person.
Exactly. So you have to, and you have to think on your feet. You may go into this session thinking you're going to do one thing, and it may not go that way. And you're basically an improv at that point.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love about this academy too, is being in Texas. I did not have any sort of acting classes. I didn't take theater arts. I was straight up music and ballet and language classes for my liberal arts stuff. These people, a lot of them from California, a lot of them have had some acting background. They made me up my game. They can think on their feet. They can do this improv. They can write scenes that are out of this world. So when we get to watch each other dominate, I'm taking notes. Like, yeah, I'm going to use this scene. I'm going to use this, and I'll tweak it up.
You have to.
Texas type thing.
That's why. That's a main reason why this show is live and improv, because you never know what could happen. Things can go wrong anytime. Because just like a scene, things can go wrong. Anything can happen, and that's exactly in improv. Right. There's a saying, yes and. To keep the scene going, you have to say yes and, to give them a reason to continue the scene.
Keep talking.
And that's the beauty of kink, you know what I mean? So okay, corporal punish.
Let me finish about the academy real quick, though. The academy is very easy to apply. I applied, and the next day I heard back from someone, and within 2 or 3 days I was in. And if you don't have the money, they have a financing, like they finance in-house. They have somebody that works with them that's like a small finance person, and they'll shop around at all the loans, even those in your area, to find out if you don't have, if you don't. And what happened with me was I couldn't get access to my money because it was right after Christmas when I applied. Everything was closed that week. This was last year at this time, or a couple more weeks. Everything was closed, and I couldn't get my money transfer for like a week. And I'd gone and spent half my money at Christmas that I needed. And I got a quick loan. And let me tell you, that payment was so affordable. So I highly recommend, if you need to finance it, do it.
Now, every time there's any kind of training, whether it's one session or if it's a year or a school or whatever, there's an arc. There's a learning curve. There's a character arc. You come out a different person.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, what was yours? What was your learning curve, or your character arc, or how are you different now as opposed to when you started the Dominatrix Academy?
It's funny that you asked this. I did get asked this question kind of recently, and I had to ask another person, how did I change? And the response was, you became less aggressive and more assertive. I've always been a dominant person, and I've always been a leader, but I don't think I knew how to wield my power properly without probably stepping on toes and pissing some people off, and pushing too hard. I just didn't understand. And I'm still learning. I'm still very much learning, and learning from my Dom sisters, who I emulate them because a lot of them have a lot more experience, even though I'm older, and they learn from me too. I mean, it's really nice the way there's no, some people don't want to tell their quote unquote secrets. A lot of dominatrix is guard. They're very guarded. And we very much in the academy are very sisterhood, sharing, family oriented. We love each other. We help each other. And many of us got very close with one another. And so I'll watch them and see how they handle a situation and try to emulate.
That's what I'm saying. I talk to doms all over the world, or just it's dom subs, you name it. I love talking with people, but there are certain doms and dungeons who are catty with each other. They
Yes,
hate each other, and it's all due to capitalism. It's about a money thing. It's about a money attention thing. Attention
probably.
is
Yeah.
currency. It's money. And if they're making money, that means they're taking money out of my pocket. So that means I don't want to
It's
make them
also
money.
an age
So
thing. It's
it's
also, I've
what?
noticed, an age thing. It's an age
Oh,
thing.
oh, of
It
course,
happens
yeah. The
a
young
lot
people
with
come. Yeah.
younger. I was
The one
resented when
thing
I was
about the
young. I was
Dominatrix
young and
Academy,
older. Yeah.
the Dominatrix Academy, is that like, oh my God, Jocasta and Nicole and like that, like they're all there's a sense of unity and a sense of camaraderie, a sense of
Yes.
sisterhood, for lack of a better word,
Yes.
and
Yes. We
that
call each other sisters.
that
We have Dom
and
sister
you know what?
meetings 3 times a week.
I'll say this. I'll say this. That is fucking sexy. That is like so all this like like I know I understand female empowerment like it's me no but like getting together like a bunch of the doms getting together
Us with
that's
a
what
capital
I had
U.
shout out to Venus and Bells and all these
Yes.
double doms. Oh, and shout out to Jessica Wood and Lady Louisa.
Mhm.
They're the
Oh,
double dom, the
yeah.
last double doms that were on my
Speaking of
show.
Mistress Nicole and double doming, we're gonna be at Gas, but Georgia's spanking party.
We're gonna
Doubling.
I want to talk about
Yes.
spanking parties too, but before we
Okay,
do the
okay.
spanking parties,
Okay.
you're a mommy
Mommy
dom.
Dom. Yes. That's something
You're
I wouldn't do at first.
really
It bothered me in the true sense of people wanting to do the age play part of it. And that was
okay.
because I didn't know how. Once I learned how, it's fun. But I really didn't know
Okay.
how. I didn't know how to treat it. And then I'm very heavy on mother archetype, meaning the mother archetype is the only one that's on the sub side. All the other archetypes just want to beat your ass and punish you. The mother gives you your punishment and your discipline and then wants you to do
Yeah.
better next time.
Yes.
She cares. Your queen also cares, but you pay your taxes and go. The queen archetype really isn't. It's the mother. The mother is the one that's there in the end, and you're going to get your spanking, and then let's have some milk and cookies, and you're going to do better next time, type thing. So, but I did learn. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are afraid to admit that they have a mother, a mommy, fetish or fantasy. And if you're properly trained in the fantasy, I totally think that it's wonderful age play. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's incest." No, it's not. If these people weren't these people, they want to be molested. Like they're not out molesting children, and I'm not out molesting children. I 100% don't. I'm a grandmother. I don't think it's okay. These are people that are a lot of them are my age or older, or some of them have kids that are over 21. I mean, this is very much a role play type thing. So, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people don't get what they need kink wise because they're too afraid to ask for it. And that's one
I mean,
thing.
and
And
if you
you
think
asked
about
another
it,
thing about adult baby diaper is another one. People are afraid,
yeah.
and pegging. Men are afraid to because of the whole, problem with butt problems, that they have. So there are certain things that I think that people don't get what they want because they're afraid to ask. And that's after they've known a dom or a top or somebody, that maybe they're having a female-led relationship with for a while and they still don't ask for what they need. Sometimes maybe they don't realize it.
What was the first time? Tell us about the first time you ever dealt with somebody who had the ABDL fetish. And for those who
I
don't
have
know,
yet
the
I
ABDL
have yet
fetish
to
is
get
diaper lover, adult baby, adult diaper lover.
I have had dom sisters with this. I have yet to have anyone. I'm not against it. I just have yet to get anyone to spank and if they've got it, then they haven't told me about it. Or at the spanking parties, they don't bring out the diapers usually. I mean, maybe at the littles parties. So, it's I have yet to have a sub that had a adult baby diaper loving fetish.
Now,
I do
what
know
the
that the best
maternal?
place to get them are going to be the same place if you're an older person and you've lost bladder continence. That's where you get it
Oh
from the
yeah,
medical supplies.
depends.
Best
But they
prices.
make
Mhm.
there are fetish. There are
Pretty
like
ones.
companies that
Cute
just
ones.
make for ABDL.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, maternal instincts. Your grandmother, you said.
Yes.
Now, when you're exploring the fetish, the mommy dom fetish, How does the fetish tap into those maternal instincts? I would think that having a grandmother, although you love being like, you've done it, don't you get like, aren't you exhausted? Do you want more responsibility? It's like I did that.
No, I find that they want guidance and
Okay,
leadership, and I'm very protective of a person. Very
great.
protective, like probably too protective. There's a reason I've got a nickname of GrandSmother instead of grandmother. Like, if you don't check in, I'm
I'm
worried.
putting that in this.
Oh yeah, I'm GrandSmother. Yeah, if you don't check in, I'm worried. If you don't call me, I'm worried. And you remember the movie Kindergarten Cop? I'm not Kindergarten Cop. It was when Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, it was Kindergarten Cop. He was a cop that had to pretend like he was a kindergarten teacher. Remember that? And he told the kid, he goes in the classroom, all these kids are around. He goes, "Oh, I have a headache," and they said, "Maybe it's a tumor." He goes, "It is not a tumor." You know, but that's what it's always worst case scenario for me. It's like you got a headache. It's a tumor.
Oh yeah,
Go to the
it's
doctor.
not a tumor.
You know, I mean, I've got my lifestyle sub now is sick with the flu, and of course I'm worried. It's like the worst thing ever, and he's gonna have to go to the hospital and die, and nobody's gonna find him, and like it's always the worst thing ever. And so I very much worry for people. I'm very much concerned for their future. So as much as I will dole out pain and punishment, I am very much concerned that they are a better person the next day, and that they are healing from this, and getting
I find it
working
I
through.
find that interesting because in my situation, I love the whole femdom, chastity, control, orgasm control type thing.
Mhm.
Um, but for me personally, and to each his own, every king his own. To me personally, the humiliation and the degradation, that's just not my thing. So the way we
Honestly, it's not
romanticize,
most people's thing. You're
yeah,
not alone in that. The majority of
we
people don't.
romanticize the thing. We romanticize it, and it becomes very much like a mommy dom situation. Although I don't call her
Mhm.
mommy or anything like that. She wants me to be better. She wants me to be healthier. She wants me to be respectful. She wants me to be a successful. She wants me to be a better lover. Everything, clean, hygienic.
That's your female led right there. If it's not mommy, then that's just your female led right there.
Yeah.
And she cares
So
for you.
I want to ask this: the very very first time you've dealt with someone with either let's just say the mommy dom fetish. Forget about the ABDL
Mhm.
fetish. Let's just say the mommy dom fetish. The first time like you encountered it, what was that like?
It was different because it was a presentation of a young man who was on like a preteen and experimenting. So there was going to be a sexual aspect to it. It wasn't diaper changing. It wasn't baby. It wasn't a little. So I was uncomfortable because did not know really what to do. So I kind of mustered my way through it and was more like a corruptive, slutty aunt in the scene that we played. And
Shout
then
out to Natasha Strange, the naughty aunt.
yes,
Yes.
I'm
Shout out to
Auntie
Natasha
Sublime,
Strange.
and that's another role play that I do play. I love to play corrupting a niece or a nephew or a kid. I love to play this naughty aunt. And I have to be real careful because if somebody I trust that they will tell me if I trigger them, if they were molested. I am very fortunate. I was never raped. I was never molested. I don't have any triggers like that. So this could easily, here we go back into the psychology of it. If somebody really was molested by a teacher, a neighbor, an aunt, that one might be triggering. So I have to be very careful and tread on thin ice, not tread on thin ice, make sure I ask a lot of questions and get consent before we do anything like this.
Now, I had Mommy Peach and Mario, which is a couple, ABDL couple, basically.
Mhm.
They're very. You see them on the street, you would never guess they're kinky. That's
Mhm.
how very professional. They're like, oh, these are professional, happy people, voters, whatever. And then, but they had this date. They tell the story on the show where they have dates. They had a date, and they're really getting to know each other. And he's like, "I have a secret to tell you," and he brings a bag, and it's filled with diapers and rattles and pacifiers and stuff like that. And he goes, "This is my fetish," and and she was like, "Okay," and she embraced it, and now she's a professional babysitter. Right? She's like, so I had
It's
her
like
on the
playing
show.
with dolls. It's like playing with dolls that are living.
So
I mean,
this
think about it. It's
goes to
like a
this
little girl
question.
plays with dolls and changes diapers. So, okay.
Yeah. So to those who have this fetish, the mommy dom fetish, but they're scared of admitting it to their significant other. This can go for cross-dressing or anything like that, or just any kink thing.
Yes.
What do you tell them? How do you, like, if they're listening right now, and maybe their significant others downstairs or in the other room or something? This is the moment. What do you tell them? What do you tell them?
Like I said before, I haven't dealt with the diapers, but I have dealt with the cross-dressing. And what I say is, this is something that it's going to be different for everyone. It could rock their world negatively or positively. And so he's got to know her very well. I'm assuming it's a male that wants to cross-dress. You got to take baby steps. I always say baby steps. Don't drop the bomb. Give them time to process. And, it's slow change is the best change. So don't come in and saying, I've been cross-dressing and I'm doing this and this and this and this. And I've got all these outfits and I got all these dildos and I've been, all this stuff. Don't freak her out. Do little baby steps and drop it and say, hey, let's talk about kink. Let me educate you about educate you first. Let's learn kink together before you go dropping the I want to cross-dress or whatever, but wear diapers, whatever bomb. Talk about kink and let them learn about kink and not kink shaming. In fact, because the partner may discover kinks they've got and they've never talked about. So that's great when you can get both of them talking about kinks they have undiscovered or discovered, and they're not judging each other and they grow together. That's a wonderful, beautiful journey to be on.
I like to say true love is not having to clear your browser history.
I love it when you say that. I love that.
That's how I got, like, we would just share porn and be like, and seriously, sharing
the way you
porn.
say share your porn. That's right. And that's as a dominatrix.
Is this good? You like this?
My clients, I ask them to share their porn library with me. Give me something to go on so I know how to work with you. The quickest way to get to know someone is to watch what kind of porn they watch. It's the quickest way to get to know what their kinks and fantasies are. And another thing about
Sublime, what kind of porn do you watch?
I watch a little bit of everything. I've gotten into watching trans because I didn't know anything about it. Now I like it. I did foot modeling for a long time. Feet were not a turn on to me at first, and now they are. So I like to watch foot jobs. So I like to watch just people screwing. I like, we do some hot wifing, hot coupling stuff. I like, watching foursomes, threesomes. Everybody in the room having a good time together.
Everybody can get 15% off all inventory at Locked and Lost with offer code YKF. We have some questions. Sunshine asks, have you ever used small metal spoons, like for meals, as spanking implements?
No, but that's a good idea. I've used the large serving metal spoons as well as, wooden spoons, silicone heavy spoons. Those Rachel Ray ones are heavy. They make a good one. And also I found the best wooden spoons are the olive wood. They've got a weight to them and they're really well made.
Oh, nice. Sunshine also asks, where can I learn how to spank the pudendal nerve? Oh, now you got to
practice on him. And it tends to be right in the center. Like if you're going to hit like, okay, here, let me put this down. This between my here's his butthole, right? It's going to be right in the middle. But for some people, you need to get down in the inner thigh areas, just like the G-spots and the prostate is in a different area for everybody. And for men and women, this pudendal area is going to be different. So practice, figure out where it was that he was getting spanked the time where you maybe made him get an erection. Because if you can figure out where the erection, when he starts getting the erection, just continue in that same spot. And then it will finally happen. And a lot of times you can get them like leaking in their cage. But now y'all are together. And I think because you're together and because you've got this relationship as well as a dynamic going, I think it'll work for you. I think it doesn't work more for a lot of people because they're with these tops that they don't know that well. They session with them, every now and then. And because we all know that the longer you're with someone, usually the better, the relationship, the better the sex,
the
better the sessions, the better whether you're dominating, topping, or just in a relationship with someone. The longer you're with them, the better it gets. So I truly think the longer, and y'all are together, so I think you could make it work.
Oh, I
Just keep
couldn't
practicing
get
until you
through.
get to the right point. And I also
Nike.
my lifestyle sub told me that someone was spanking him with a short, straight, kind of stiff leather type implement that got kind of inside of his thigh, in inner leg, and it worked on him there. So some implements work too, and we're still like going to stores trying to find one like it. Like, all right, was it here? Was it here? You know, we're still trying to find that spot again. So it takes trial and error. It's just like and we just had this talk the other day, Mr. Natasha Jacasta and I, about milking prostates. Everybody's different. So it takes a lot of trial and error before you get it, before you get it right.
It's funny that you answered this question because I can hear Sunshine smile from downstairs. Basically.
She
So we got
smiled
some
so
more questions.
loudly. Okay.
Bobby Lott. Hello, what is the difference between a femdom and dominatrix?
Well, they're the same thing. A dominatrix is someone who dominates, and a femdom is short for female dominatrix, or actually female domination. So you have femdom, which is the act of female domination, and then a femdom, DOMME, is just short for female dominatrix or dominator, I guess you would say. So it's really kind of interchangeable.
Dan Vladimir asks, "What are your thoughts on
Go to somebody who knows what they're doing. Go to somebody who knows what they're doing." I have learned recently, and especially since my one of my family members graduated from nursing school, it takes a week. It takes a week in nursing school for them to teach you just to wash your hands. And you need to be very sterile and very safe with this. One of my Dom sisters, Mistress Shatterjoe, she is very educated on medical play and even has a medical dungeon set up in her house. The Chi Temple at Mistress Damiana Chi's dungeon in Los Angeles has a whole medical area. I am not the medical play person to see about this. I can do like something like sounding, but I'm not the needle person. I'm not your needle play person unless you want to see somebody faint. This is not me, but I enjoy seeing. And it's funny because some people have asked me for needle corset before. Do you know what that is? You put needles down the back and then you take the ribbon and go back and forth and it looks like a corset. The thought of that, I would like to do, because as an art major, getting them exactly
beautiful
is like, right. It's artwork. And I saw the other day a few days ago on FetLife, somebody had a heart shape in their back with the needles. I thought, that's almost like tattoo art. I don't feel woozy. When I look at that, I see the spacing and how difficult it would be to actually keep the spacing even, and it becomes a project instead of a medical play. So yeah, my thoughts on medical play are go to somebody that knows what they're doing, and that's very, very clean.
Talk about needle play. A shout out to Miss Kitten in South Africa. So she's been on the show. She makes human zippers out of people. She like connects people together. That's
cool. That is cool.
Beautifully violent stuff. It's like it's wild. So with the mommy dom, you're nurturing and everything like that, but do you ever play the bad mommy dom? Like the neglectful mommy, like you leave them and like you forget because you're on a date or something like that, or you forget to like get them pregnant.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I like to.
Here's a TV dinner on TV.
I like to keep them on their toes when I'm doing the mommy dom. I will go back and forth from nurturing to mean within 30 seconds. So they don't know what they're going to get. So yeah.
Tell me more about this naughty aunt.
Naughty aunt loves to come around to 13, 14, 15-year-old girls and teach them how to be naughty and teach them things about their bodies they don't know yet. Teach them how to act slutty.
Now, with the mommy dom, some people are irked out by the incest narrative. They don't, because even though it's role play, it's consensual role play. You know what? Tobey Maguire is not really Spider-Man. Christian Bale is not really Batman. It's
acting. It really is. It's acting. Yeah. I had to learn that. So, it creeped me out at first. I wouldn't do it. And I had to learn. And I understand it's not for everybody. And that's why I don't yuck someone else's yum. But I learned how to do it. I feel qualified in it. And so I will do it knowing that I have absolutely zero desire to touch a child. And I'll hurt somebody. I'll shank a bitch. Seriously, I will hurt somebody for hurting a child. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, this is all adults. We're adults playing with other adults. We're being adults.
Mhm.
I
So, mommy
like
Dom
people
without
my own
incest
age.
narrative, you could change it to a neighbor being too sexually overt with a, you know, with a neighbor's kid. So that's basically a mom without the incest. You can change it up. It can be a teacher, you know.
Now, there are some. I've interviewed a lot of people. I'm not calling out anybody,
Mhm.
but
Right.
I more so than other DOMs. I get, I always get feedback. Oh, this person, they said that they were going to do something and they didn't, or I paid them and they said they didn't, or there's some
Mhm.
BS complaint. I
Mhm.
seem to get a lot of complaints, more complaints about mommy DOMs than I do about any other DOMs. Why do you think that is?
Really?
And a lot of it, they claim they use the word abuse. They said
Huh.
that like,
I
oh,
have not heard
there
that.
was a oh,
I
interesting.
haven't heard it. And maybe it's just because the Doms I deal with are educated and a lot of them are professional. And if they're not pros, then they're trained pros. Like I'm just now starting to accept payment for my spanking. Before this, I didn't, charge for anything. But I was still trained as a pro. So I
So
don't see this in my group of people, but it may be happening with others that maybe they're not as trained as we are.
let's go back to the spankings. Charging for
Okay.
spankings. All right.
Okay.
In my imagination, when I think of that, I think of like I can go down the street and like put a sign on me and just like $5 with my hand. Can't do that. So
Mhm.
how do you set up a like a pay to spank, get spanked type situation?
For a long time, I just wanted gifts. Like I figured that if they would bring me a spanking tool or, send a gift or something, that way I didn't have to worry about taxes and all that business. Well, then um I went to an academy and then I started traveling and now I have hotel and airfare and clothes and all sorts of stuff that need leather that needs to be bought. And this is not a inexpensive. This is a career
No, it's not.
and it's not inexpensive. So I definitely am not the most expensive out there, but I am not the cheapest. And I feel that I'm ethical. And there's a lot of people that have gotten spankings for free. You can ask, you will find nobody. Like I don't even have a way to tip me. I've never taken money. Never. I've done this for free for so long. And so I'm just now starting and I'm even uncomfortable asking. But when you look at the expenditures I've had for 2024
Yes.
compared with the
I
income,
feel the
it's like, all
same
right,
way.
something's gotta, and I'm going
I am
to
the same
Oasis
way.
spanking. I'm okay. I'm going to traveling to California and Arizona for spanking
Okay.
in January. February is Oasis in Las Vegas. March, Gasp, Georgia, Texas, June, and Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of spanking parties. These aren't cheap. People you're
Yeah.
putting out 2, 3, 4 grand each time. So there's a reason that some people have to charge.
So take us through the spanking party. All right. All right. Now you're throwing the spanking party or you're going to one?
Nope, these are
For,
big national events, and they're
for the
huge
sake
and
of
they're
this
fun.
conversation, you're going into this. What do you see when you get a ticket? You get a ticket online,
Yep.
obviously, but you go
Yes.
in. What's the first thing you
Mhm.
see?
Well, the first thing you
The
do is you have
spanking.
a room because this is a several day long thing, and you have to
And it's
book
a
your room.
spanking event. It's all spanking. It's not
Oh,
like
yeah, everybody here is Spankos. So there are, I mean, it's like they keep having to add more and more rooms, more and more hotel rooms and layers, levels of hotel. And we're all sequestered. You cannot get on these rooms of the hotels without your card key because only Spankos are there because there's a lot of impact noises coming from each room and a lot of sounds and spanking and slapping and impact noises and sounds of pain and groans sometime. And the law will be called by people next door in rooms who don't understand that there is consensual play going on. So they will sequester all the spankos into into floors under floors, and every now and then a vanilla will get put there, and there's always like a big, kerfuffle, not kerfuffle, but it's like they got to let's get the vanilla off the floor as fast as possible. So that's the first thing you notice when you go is that you're checking into your hotel room and you're going to hear slaps by people that are already checking in and you're going to hear noises like sounds of bratting and play and fun going on behind rooms behind doors and people are out talking and you just notice that's the first thing you see is you're sequestered with everybody like you And then the events start. You've got your orientation, and there's usually, they tell you how things work. But you're all sequestered on floors. And your main events, like your dinners, your big dinners, are going to be down on the main floors of the hotel where there are banquet rooms. And you need to go down there looking as vanilla as possible. Don't go down there getting the spanking party outed. Don't go down there with a bunch of tools. You can dress nicely, but don't go down there like in a diaper and wings on Valentine's Day or something like that. Make sure you're dressed. Don't scare the locals. But when you're on your floors at the hotel, you can kind of dress however you want. You can do whatever you want. Not uncommon to see a brat squealing running down the hall and a top chasing them saying, "Get back here." It's all role playing. It's all fun. And that's the difference. I at first was very high protocol. I've been trained high protocol. I don't tolerate bratting and domination, but I very much love to tame a brat in topping. Spanko bratting is very different. It's very fun, and I enjoy it.
Spanko bratting. That's it. Spanko bratting. I like that term. Nice.
Yeah, they're begging for punishment. I mean, they're flipping us off and calling me old. And it's hilarious. You got to have a sense of humor, and they don't mean any harm by it. It's fun. It's fun play.
Sunshine said, "Thank you for everything, Lady Sublime. You are a beautiful force. I admire you and very much appreciate your wisdom."
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunshine. Okay, let's get back to the questions. The impact play. There are whips. There are paddles. There are floggers. There are riding crops. There's your hand.
There's hand.
What's your personal favorite these days?
I have to say, I am still perfecting my my cane use. Caning can be beautiful if you can get them nice and even and symmetrical all the way down. And I'm still getting better by it. So some of mine are not as even. And boy, Miss Chris has got it down. So I like that. And another thing is, in order to be whip certified, I have to be able to hit a bottle cap with my non-dominant hand. And some people can never get whip certified and be that good. So I'm not whip certified, and I would love to be. I was taught about I think it's a South African disciplinary type instrument by a friend of mine that sells, or he doesn't sell, he's a representative for London Tanners, and was teaching me about, I think it was called a jambok. It's a South African. Yeah. Okay. I want to learn that. That's my next thing. It's like, okay, if I can't hit something with a bullwhip, if I can't hit the bottle cap with my non-dominant hand, then let me see if I can use a jambok, because that looks like a little bit different. So that's my next. But my favorite so far has to be, my hand's my favorite, but it doesn't last long enough. So the next thing would be paddles and leather instruments.
Oh no.
Yes, there it is, jambok. I think it's DJEMB or DJEM. Like it's like a djembe, or like it's DJE, like the African.
Jambok whip.
DJEMB or DJAMB. I'm not certain exactly.
It's this.
That's it. Jambok. That's it. Jambok. SJAMB.
Jambok.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Nice.
But yes, that's something I would like to learn next, because I think I could do better with that than the bullwhip. I think that I might have more control over that. And the one thing good about those are, it's a different instrument where you're going to come up from overhead, and it's going to be a two-handed, and you're going to come down that way. Whereas the bullwhip, you've seen it. It's like, it's a totally different. You've got a lot of you're with your non-dominant hand. There's a lot of wrist action to get it just right. I think I might be able to control that jambok better. So yeah, I've been watching videos on that. I'm hoping somebody gifts me one soon.
So you're certified Spanko, I'd say, right?
I'm a certified dominatrix.
Dominatrix.
I don't.
I joke around with words.
Yes, if there is a certified Spanko program, believe me, I will enroll in it. I'm all about the education.
So and then impact play toys, you were talking canes, jamboks, all this stuff. What are some new ways and creative ways we could do impact play? There's pervertibles, like you're in the kitchen. Yes. Hey, it's a cutting board. Yes. Boom. Yes. What are some new creative ways we could for impact play?
Okay, let me show you something that I just created, and I
Please.
didn't
I'm gonna
think
take
that it was
myself
going to
out.
do.
Please.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to do anything. I really didn't, and then I used it on someone. He said it hurts. Okay, you know how you have little cat toys that are they're on like a long fishing pole like type thing, and they just dangle. Well, my cat shredded the thing, and I pulled the end off of it. Well, I took that little flexible pole or stick and put it in half. It's just plastic, and I took art tape and wrapped it around the end of it and used it like this. It hurt him, and he's a mascus, and he said it hurts. He's a big mascus. So just even little things like that. And look, this is one that was this was a bath brush, and it was like a plastic on it. I ended up not liking the brush part of it at all, so I just ripped it off, and there we go. I mean, this thing hurts. This will leave. So there's a lot of good things you can use. Belts, belts that that you outgrew or grew or that you lost weight. But there's also, tools that I've had some lovely people gift me implements that they made. This is, handmade, beautiful, that I got for gifts for graduation. Here's one that I won. It's I know it's got an oak core and possibly rosewood. It's beautiful. I won this in an auction. So, I mean, there's great, there's beautiful stuff out there for pervertibles and homemade stuff. There's beautiful people. There are so many crafty people out there.
The South, Texas, shout out to, oh my God, everybody in Texas. The magnificent, the legendary Nico Noir is in Texas. Carly DeVille's in Texas. The Commandant is in Texas. Empress Misty, all that. Director Jez. Oh, I would love for Texas. So you're talking about moving from Texas to California. So let's just back up. How would you describe growing up in the South as a kinky woman? Did you grow up in the South?
Highly repressed. Oh yeah, I'm 6th generation Texan. Highly repressed. Coming from a Southern Baptist family, you didn't do anything. And I come from a family where the women were leaders and very dominant, but they were by society standards told to be submissive. And the men that my grandfathers, that my grandmothers married, were forced into dominant leadership roles that they weren't comfortable in. They didn't do well, and they didn't know how to do it. They were unhappy generations. So it was very, once my grandmom got older, my mom, I don't know, I guess I was in elementary school. They both got into like a new age type beliefs. They strayed far from that Southern Baptist and got much more open. And that's when I started learning more and becoming more pagan. And so even though sexuality was still repressed, it was with my mom, it was don't ask, don't tell. Once I got to be an adult, she knew I was not vanilla. She and my adopted dad divorced when I was, I don't know, 23 or so. Suddenly mom started coming over to visit, and she's still wearing the same clothes she wore the night before out to the bar. So she'd been out all night. Mom was having her own fun stuff going on. It was don't ask, don't tell. Kinkiness is in the family. I learned from my mentor, Mistress Dominatrix, that kink sexuality is a thing, like homosexuality and heterosexuality. One day they're going to discover a genetic connection between being kink sexual, and they will. In the meantime, you just have to realize that kinkiness runs in the family. So if you're kinky, you got it from somebody. You got it from somebody. And if you don't know who that is, and they're probably repressing, maybe it skipped a generation, look around at your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, because it is genetic. So, it was don't ask, don't tell. And same with my daughters. They know what I do. They don't mind. I gave my Dominatrix book that she wrote, a wonderful, great book, great advice to both daughters, made them both read it. Because even if you don't want to dominate, it will help you become more empowered. And I'm hoping it will help the one that's more dominant. I hope it will help her be more assertive and less aggressive. And the one that's more submissive, I just hope it will help her be more, stand up for herself more.
So I don't want to get too political on the show because I just like to keep it positive, and it seems
Right.
these days politics is all negative. So,
Yes. Yeah, it can be.
but let's talk. Let's just keep it positive. You're talking about moving to SoCal like permanent.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
so what's inspiring you, for lack of better words?
But believe it or not, it's not the political environment. Even though I feel
Okay.
like there's some of us here fighting the good fight to be able to keep, kink alive and legal. There's a few of us
But
here that are doing that, but it's my health. I'm in an area
mm,
where it's everything's flooded millions of times. I mean, I almost lost my life in a hurricane. The Weather Channel did a story about my escape and almost near death. I mean, we've had several near misses and flooding, and I've got the genetic haplotype to be highly allergic to mold. So I need to. I didn't understand until I started visiting Southern California for extended periods of time. Every time I
and
come
you
back here, I
realized, why
start
haven't I been
feeling,
here this whole time?
oh my, the fibromyalgia. Now I understand that every day this isn't just getting old. Getting old doesn't involve this amount of body pain. It's the molds. So I'm going to have dual residence for a while. I've got both daughters also want to go for various reasons. Um, one of them is got ties to Los Angeles and Arizona area, and the other one just wants to go anywhere with us. So it just doesn't matter where I go, and so I just want to go. So for a
I
while though,
have,
there's going to be back and forth.
if you don't mind, I'd like to. If you don't want to talk about that, that's cool too. But I have a lot of dominatrix friends who have daughters who really, not that they want nothing to do with it, but it's like it doesn't shock them. It's just like, yeah, whatever, do your thing, mom. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
How do your kids deal with your lifestyle? How do they, do they
One of them has
embrace it?
dominated before. One of them has
Okay.
dominated before, and when I asked her to double with me, she said, "No, I did not spend $87,000 on my nursing career to dominate, and there's too much responsibility." She doesn't like the responsibility. Now, I think in the future, when she's in a different place in life, she will combine her. She might be the medical play person that I need. I'm going to get her one day to help me. I will. But right
That's
now, she's just not interested in. She's very much a dom leaning switch and having fun, just doing lifestyle on the side while she lives a vanilla life and is a mom. You know,
So let's go to your first professional session ever. What mistakes did you make?
trying to remember the script in my head and not winging it. I thought for sure it was like, I don't remember. I got ADHD. I can't remember anything. I
Me
especially
too.
wouldn't be
What
good
were we
as an
talking about?
actress. Yeah, exactly. I especially wouldn't be good as an actress because I just don't remember lines. But I was going in with like this full script. So I kept, and I was missing a bunch of points if I'd have just went into it more naturally.
Yeah,
So
that's it. Sex is better when it's natural. It's so
yes,
domination and submission, being submissive is
yes,
better when it's natural. You know what I mean? So let's
yes.
just get down to the nitty gritty. We're to this part. Sadism. Why?
I don't know. I honestly
That's a good
don't
answer.
know.
All right. What was the last time you were impressed by sadism, yours or someone else's? What was it?
Every single week we have our Dominatrix Academy coaching calls on Wednesdays. I'm always impressed by something that one of my Dom sisters is coming up with or has done in the past that they tell us about. However, just last week, I guess it was, I was in Southern California with my lifestyle sub, and we had a really good scene. And I got to rip a whole bunch of duct tape off of him and leave him chained for a while I left the house and do a bunch of CBT and torture. And I don't know, it was just a great. So I was impressed by my own sadism because of my mother Dom. My mother Dom is so heavy. I tend to want to protect people, and
Yeah.
so
So you
here
have
I
to
am.
destroy
It's
their
like
balls.
I'll do one or two strong things, but to put that many in one, I was like, okay, yeah. But yeah, it was very, very fun, and I want to do it again soon.
Speaking of CBT, this was a question. I was at the Manor last night. I asked a question. I'm like, I'm going to interview Lady Sublime. Any questions? And Sunshine, you know who I'm talking about. New creative ways to torture CBT.
You know, one of the things I am a pleasure sadist. I like to torment people with pleasure. And one of the things I like to
Yes.
do is to put a cali teeth or a spiked cage or anything on them and then pleasure myself in front of them so that as they're watching me, it hurts. And sometimes it pokes them and makes them bleed.
Sunshine and I have a thing where she like, okay, so I'm in chastity, I'm dressed, and I'm chained and leash and everything like that, and she just like would masturbate over and over and over again, just hold my caged cock,
Yes.
and I just have to watch. I can't
deal with it.
anything. And but I like,
Tie you
I am
down.
allowed.
Bind you down.
I am allowed to, like, hold their legs and their hair and stuff like that. But like, obviously I can't calm because I'm caged. So that's a whole, and we make it very cinematic. It's very romantic. Try to bring the romance.
There are some doms that would not let you touch them, even if you have a
of course,
FLR and you're married. Gloves, either gloved or you're bound. So that's a level where you actually get to touch. I know a woman
FLR level. I know a woman who the only contact she has with her husband is when she shits in his mouth. That's it. So to each his own.
They like it.
Sissification. Sissification. Has your attitude towards sissification changed over the years?
Yes, it's intensified positively. I've always liked it. I used to say, this has helped me to learning about sissification helped me to understand that I was just like the Dominatrix Academy helped me understand the difference in tops and subs. I'm sorry, bottoms and subs, the differences between them. Sissification helped me understand the difference in those who are effeminate, those who want to be sissies, and those who want to be feminized, and everything in between. Because there's a big difference. Not all of them want to be sissy sluts.
Yeah.
And, not all of them that dress, not all, I'm going to use men because that's what I've dealt with so far. But women do the same thing when they dress. Not all of them, when they dress, feel like they are the other gender, nor will they ever. Like some of them are very straight men and they just feel good in a dress every now and then. Whereas others want to do the hair, the makeup, the shoes. They want to feel like a woman. They are really expressing. And we all started as female, right? So they're expressing this inner female that didn't come out since their XXX hormone, since their X chromosome took over. But they're expressing is various levels. And it really helped me understand. That's what sissification helped me understand is more how their thoughts and their desires and how they feel.
The reason I use the term sissification, honestly, is because of the broad term when it comes up when you look up porn. It just that will come up. You'll get cross-dressing, you'll get transvestites, you'll get femdom, you'll get all that
semantics
in it. It's really all semantic. And one thing that I've learned. One thing I learned throughout the years with sissification is that you make it your own, just like any word or any kind of kink or fetish. You make it your own. So like we were talking about before, in my way, in our terms, we don't use the degradation. We don't even really do the feminine thing. It's more about control. I don't get like if I'm under all this. I'm wearing a corset and garter belts and stockings, right? And I'm locked in chastity, and so
you should show off.
But maybe later, I don't know. But the thing is that it's fabric. C-Bombs from Conversations with Crossdressers podcast. She says it best. It's fabric. It's what you make it. You could act feminine in it, or you could be submissive. I just go the submissive route. Seriously, like I will do. I lack of a better term, simp out. And just worship, and we'll do anything. I like losing control, and that's part of it. So it goes to the next question: how can we explore sissification without degrading womanhood in general? Because a lot of it deals with degradation. Some of it does, not all of it, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it as degrading at all. I think it's they can go side by side and coexist together. To me, sissification is like having a BFF girlfriend. Like, look, that doesn't know how to put on makeup or anything. And look, or my doll, my living doll. Look, I get to teach you how to wear makeup. I get to teach you how to do your hair. I get to teach you how to use makeup brushes, how to line your lips, how to dress for your body type. I love that. I don't think it's degrading. I do understand some of them want to be called, sluts and all that, but so do women. So do cis women. So, I mean, so I just don't see it as degrading, and maybe I just haven't seen what you're talking about.
The world is changing so fast, and the older I get, I can't even keep up. And I prided myself on like being on the cutting edge, but liver transplant.
Yeah, but every now and then we got to Google a new one. Yeah,
I know.
Google it.
Every now and then. How about every?
Yeah. I know. What is this?
So, as the world is changing, as kinky people, as we're getting older, how can we survive?
Educate yourself and reach out to others. I can't tell you. Let me tell you, I am. I've less lately because I just don't have the time anymore like I used to. But I used to be on Discord a whole lot, and I first discovered during COVID that kink was online. That was something that I hadn't really known before. I mean, it was always when you are when you play in person, a lot of times you don't grow. If you don't have like a library of resources, you kind of do the same old thing over and over again. You just don't know. So stay educated and learn. And another thing, as the world is changing, how can kinky people survive? I guess is we don't want to make it political, but at a certain point, we're going to have to vote for those that will allow us to stay kinky, and that will allow us. We're going to have to speak with our vote.
We have to get legal. It's as simple as that. Yeah. We have to get legal.
I remember back in 1983 joining a group called NORML, NORML.
Yes, I remember.
National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. And for years and years and years, I was what was called a single issue voter. If they were going to get it legalized, then I would vote for them. And now I think I'm a single issue voter on kink. I know I am. If they will keep it legal, then I will. Then they've got my vote.
I firmly believe that if there are enough kinky people out there, we can make a change. We can. We have to focus and not. We have to. Like chastity. Sometimes you have to earn to be unlocked. You know what I mean? So let's earn our change, and let's think right, be positive, and work on towards it. And it all comes from shame. Oh my God, shame.
Yes,
the whole
shame.
thing comes from shame. So what advice would you give to somebody who's dealing with shame in their family? Christmas, it's the holidays. We have to talk to our mothers, our fathers, our sons and daughters, our uncles. Someone's got someone in their family who voted for someone who you didn't. And you're gonna have
as much as I would like to say avoid them, sometimes you can't. I would just say avoid the topic. You're not going to change their mind. There is nothing you can say at this point that's going to change their mind. You're only going to increase your cortisol, increase their cortisol. If there's drinking, there's going to be fighting. You're going to create bad for the whole family. Try to stay off the topic and live your life. And at this point, it's also the way I see it as, if you have a partner or a family member who is heavily addicted, and Nicholas, you may have had to go through this. There's the tough love thing, where if they don't help you, if you don't give them the come to Jesus talk, and they don't have their intervention, and they don't get help, then you have to do tough love and cut them off. And there may come a point where if your family is really shaming you because you've chosen to be trans or gay or whatever, not chosen, but you are trans or gay, and they are shaming you for it, then there might come a point where it's for your best mental health to not go see them for Christmas. You go see people that you feel good with at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever the holiday is. You go with people like you, and you support each other, because you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. And that's why we have Friendsgiving, because sometimes family Thanksgiving suck too much to go.
That's true. Your kinky friends.
Your kinky friends. Meet them here. You're bringing them all together. So get with your kinky friends and be supported by your kinky friends.
So you know what? I want to ask the tough questions. This is a hardcore show. Tough questions. Is face-sitting a privilege?
Yes. Yes.
Now,
that's not something to do with everybody.
How do you prepare for a typical day?
For a typical session or a typical day?
Yes, let's do session.
First thing I
Me thinking
do.
that you live this 24/7.
Right. Well, I do. I sometimes do. It depends on the
Yeah,
week.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Mainly go over in my head or on notes, about that person and their kinks, what they like, what they don't like. So I'm getting like, I don't have a script in my head, but I do need to get those points, because as much as in a domination session, you find out what their, not triggers, but their kinks are, and you use them for and against them. Whereas in a topping session, they tell you their kinks and you pretty much give it to them. That's what they're coming to you for, because they like this particular style of discipline, or they want this type of role play. And within reason, you give them what they want when you're topping, when you're having a spank session. However, when it's, doming, you don't. So I find out what they like, what their kinks are, what their triggers are, because I certainly don't want to trigger them. And I kind of form how it's going to go in my head, and then I get ready. Bathe, hair, makeup, stuff together.
Do you throw any
wherever we're
music
going.
on there to get you in the mood?
Yes, sometimes I will have music. I
Like, what is
certainly
it?
will. And it depends on, it's often depends on, I like so many different types of music that I try to cater to whatever will get them into the best subspace.
No,
I don't
but for
want too
you,
many words.
what do
For
you put? What do
me,
you put on to get into prep to get in the mood? Yeah, because I put it like before this show, I was playing music. I play music.
it
It gets
depends
me
on
in the
my mood.
mindset.
It depends on my mood. There are some days I want classic rock. There are some days I want screaming rock. There's some days I want grunge. There's some days I'll listen to punk. There's some days I want 60s rock. There's some days 70s. Sometimes I want outlaw country. So, I mean, it's
Outlaw
seriously,
country.
it changes. Outlaw country.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh wow.
like the way I'm
That's
living, you just leave
you
this
know what?
long-haired country girl alone. Right?
The
Charlie Daniels.
beauty of getting older is the amount of music. Seriously, just the amount of creative expression that you consume. So your taste gets better. And for me, I get more eclectic. I was always
Yes,
very eclectic. I
definitely.
always had eclectic taste. But I could deep dive in every genre there is now, as opposed to
Exactly.
when I was
Americana,
a
bluegrass.
dumb kid, I was like, I just want to listen to this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
beauty
If
of
it's not Van
growing
Halen,
old.
it ain't shit, right? No. Yeah, I
So
remember that.
lifestyle. Was there ever a
Yes.
time, because you were a kinky person, to the core, it shines
Mhm,
it shines from you, like you can't
mhm.
hide it. You really can't. So was there ever a time you felt burnt out or felt like you needed to give up the kink lifestyle? And obviously you
Yes.
didn't. So what changed your mind?
Yes, I did. I had to learn to set boundaries. I did not know yet how to set boundaries. And I was giving people way too much access to me and giving them too much of me. And it reminds me of when they tell you on the airplane that if there's any problems, you breathe the oxygen first, and then you allow the child in your lap to breathe. You know, when everybody's sick, when the whole family's come down with the flu, you make sure you eat and you keep your energy, because you are taking care as a mother or whatever, the caregiver of the rest of the family. And I was not doing that basic type of caregiving myself. And I got burned out. I gave and gave and gave it away. And I really felt like there wasn't enough of me to go around. And every time I tried to make an adjustment on my life that I thought would make it better, some crap would come up and it would like make it worse or more difficult. And then life kept throwing me a bunch of loops recently. A bunch of weird, just weird situational things came up. And I kept thinking, is this what's going on? I just had to push through it. I had to push through it and minimize. I really had to minimize and start focusing almost day by day. Like, when you're a recovering addict, you've got to live day by day. I had to take it
Yeah.
almost minute by minute, day by day, and drop. I was juggling way too many balls and had to drop a bunch of balls. I dropped a bunch accidentally and then just started dropping them voluntarily. And I'm still trying to learn this balance.
What was the last dream you remember?
I woke up this morning to the alarm interrupting a great dream of me spanking someone. And I don't know
Oh yeah,
I don't
we
know
started
why.
that. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why. I was not angry. It was not a disciplinary spanking. It was a bare butt with jeans pulled down And I was just a rhythmic spank with my hand. And no, I wasn't overly excited and I wasn't angry. It was just spanking.
So we
So
started
yeah,
the show talking about that. How often do you dream of spanking?
I don't think I've ever dreamed of spanking before. I cannot
Until
remember
yesterday?
dreaming until this. Yeah, no, it was this morning. Like that was the alarm that woke
Wow.
me up this morning. Yes. And so, but I've never had a dream of spanking before. I have had a dream of being so angry I was hitting someone, like seeing red, I want to kill you. And it would be dreams where I wouldn't know who they were. Like, who is
Oh
this? But it
yeah.
was somebody that obviously they'd wronged me. So it's like,
I have a friend who constantly has this dream of beating up her mailman for some reason, and he
oh,
doesn't have
oh
no
my
clue
gosh.
who the mailman is. He's beating someone, and it turns out it like at the end, like after the beating, it's like, oh my god, oh my, and then it's sorry. What is your bad? I don't even know you. Every time
Mistaken
she opens the
identity.
mail, it's like an experience for her. Anyway, duo doms. What is the key element? What are the key elements to double teaming a sub?
I think the key elements are playing off each other. I love it's almost like a good cop, bad cop. I love that play when I can with someone else. If they will play like one person's on the sub side and the other one's not. So it's like they're gonna, play. But it's actually a team thing. So, but it's a mind game. I like
Yeah.
the mind game. I like the double mind game.
Kate West's question: why are men so obsessed with their own assholes?
I think because so many years they were told not to be obsessed. We want
Yeah,
what we can't have, right?
we always want to
When
go.
you're
Yeah.
right, see, but
Fucking
when you
men.
are told when you're told that you can't be have sex, or you're told that you can't do something, it makes you want to do it more, want to try it. And I think for so many years we've been told that it's a homosexual thing for men to be even interested in their butt for any reason. And it's the men that are have been raised to be, it's in a almost a homophobic society, or a homophobic society. That's
Mhm.
it's a very they've been raised to men better be men and don't touch butts. Well, now we're finding out that even as you age, prostate swelling can be relieved a bit by prostate play. So I believe more and more men these days, if they're not into pegging, then they're at least coming to grips with the fact that prostate play and prostate massage can be beneficial to health and that it does feel good. And so I believe more men are now open to the idea of touching their butts and doing anal play, which is making them obsessed because it's something they weren't able to have for generations,
So, would
pegging.
you consider yourself a silicone slinger?
No, I am actually not. More men come to me, don't want it than do. And what's funny is
Really?
here's the deal. A lot of men will say, but I'll let you use a plug. Some of these plugs are as big as the
They're
dildos
bigger.
on the strap on. Oh yeah.
Some of them are huge.
So once I get to the point where it's a plug and it's that
They're
big, and
like
I say, you realize this is bigger than my strap
they're
on.
like
They're like,
this big.
really?
Some of them are like, I've seen plugs this big. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. And I said, you realize this is bigger than the strap on I would use. And I would start, I mean, they have strap ons for prostate play. They can start, they're about
Yeah.
as big as this. They're that tiny. So you
They
can
have a
start
toy for
small,
everything.
work your way up, right? Work your way up. And another thing that the strap on enables is hands free for the
Mhm.
hands to do like prostate play with the strap on doing the actual prostate work, and the hands can do the other work, like trying to get to the prostate from the outside massage. So it leaves the hands free. So to me,
Yeah.
I think that men just need to get over it. And again, if this is something you want, and you want to do to your partner, and he says no, baby steps. Start tiny. Start with the finger. That's how you're supposed to start anyway. Start with the
Yeah.
finger. There's two sphincters you got to get through. Start with that first sphincter. Okay, over for today. Next time, start with that. Get to the second sphincter. Okay, it's done for the day. Tons of lube, lots of relaxation. Don't rush anything. Don't think you're going to get pegged the first time, especially with a monster dildo. Take it slowly. Baby
Well, it's
steps.
funny because I'm always thinking of like um, parties and ideas for parties and all that stuff like that. So a friend of mine, in another dungeon, they have a strap-on party and I was thinking, what if everyone wears a strap-on, regardless of your gender? You can't get into place if you have a strap-on. So I go to Mr. Shar. I mean, that'd be kind of whimsical, fun idea. She goes, no, every drink would be knocked over. Everything would be.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Some of them are really long too. They'd be slinging everywhere. I didn't even think.
And
about
there's always going to be that person who's going to come with the huge strap on. That's like he's going to.
Oh yeah.
You need help getting through the door. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. They're just dragging on the floor. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking of the great photo shoot. Like I'm thinking of the content creation part of it. I didn't even think about the actual drinks getting knocked over, and people tripping on their own dildos.
Chastity. Do you have any interesting chastity stories?
One chastity story is that he was very, very angry because this app that was since shut down because I think they were like Chinese company were spying on people and taking their data or something. The app didn't work. It was that Kiwi app. Remember the old QI, UI, I think. Yeah. It didn't work. So it didn't go well. But other than that, no.
Okay. So when it comes to chastity though, oh wait, I have a question. Silicone, plastic, or metal? Do you have a preference? Even just image, just looking at it.
Okay. For me, I would say silicone or plastic for their comfort. However, and I've been told too that plastic, they like the way it feels because it's all covered, that the metal is cold, heavy. However, it's the most hygienic. I think it looks the prettiest. However, it's heavy. And I've known people that have gone through 10 or 12 before they found the right one. They're expensive. Every person is so different. They've got like a dead cage box or an unusable cage box and $1,000. So yeah. So I say find what works and go with it. And it's like shoes. You don't need tennis shoes all the time. You don't need sandals all the time. You might need a different type cage for different purposes. So just remember, one cage might not work for everything.
A friend of the show, Chastity Queen, who has, I don't even think she remembers. I'm sure she does, but it seems like it's very easy to forget. She got a necklace with just keys. She got so many keys that it doesn't fit on one necklace.
Awesome.
She doesn't fit on one necklace. This is a shout out to Chastity Queen. She's a force of nature. She says this, and this is a line I quote her all the time. The best chastity device is the one that fits.
It fits exactly, whichever one works.
Without giving too much away, are you currently living a BDSM lifestyle in your private life? And what's the dynamic?
That's funny that you say that. Yes, I am. I do live a dynamic. With my husband, we've been married over 30 years. It is a female-led relationship of a gentle type. It would be called a gentle FLR. He's very much of and the Academy helped me understand him better. He is, I was like, I butted heads for years. Like, why are you not doing what I say? Well, he's not a sub. He's a bottom. He's very, very, very much into service, but does not like to be bossed around and doesn't like to be told what to do. He is not a submissive in any way. And me trying to make him a submissive was just like, petting the cat's hair the wrong way. It just didn't work. So I learned our relationship got better when I went to the Academy and learned to deal and just realized he is very much of into service. I don't cook. I don't shop. I cook every now and then, I'm having meetings and fresh food is brought to me. It's all homemade because of my, like you with, dietary issues. You probably cut back sodium too. Yeah. So
sodium,
whatever sodium. Yeah. So anyway, so there's I don't do a lot of that. He does that. However, he doesn't want to be hit. He doesn't want to be bossed around. He'll let me tie him up, but it's not a kink for him. His kink is more not swinging, but poly. It would be like having somebody else with us. That's more of his alt sexuality, I would say. Whereas I believe in polyfidelity, not just for sexual
polyfidelity.
Polyfidelity is different, I think, than polyamory because because of health issues. I'm very much into I can't be a swinger. It's the chance of I don't have I've been very fortunate that I didn't catch any STDs and I don't want any because I don't have the time to detox. Right. So polyfidelity is when you know that person very well, and you tend to have, it's almost like a married group of people. It's almost like you're married. You are committed to each other. And if anybody else comes in the group, every single person in that group has to okay the new person. So it's very much to keep each safe. You know their backgrounds. You know they're not going to like rob you and steal your house while you're asleep. You know, you trust these people not only with your health and that they're going to take care of you as much as you're going to take care of them with your decisions. So I am polyplay, meaning I have a FLR lifestyle sub who is a very much a submissive, a masochistic submissive. And all the things I can't do to my husband, I can do to my submissive. The caning, the chaining, the duct tape, all that. And my husband is so very thankful that there are people who will allow me to spank them and to
So you
boss
don't have
them
to spank
and
him.
to dominate them. And yeah, and to cane him. Yeah, because he doesn't want any of that. He has absolutely no desire. He has no jealousy. He has no problem with me doing that to other people.
This is
So
beautiful. This is balance. Seriously. And this is a lesson
yes,
that everyone should learn in life. Balance. Thank you. So
I
let's
fully believe
wait.
that one person cannot be everything to everybody, that it takes a number of people to fill all my needs. Just like you, you know, it's as much as you love your partner, they can't be 100% of everything you need. And it puts a real unfair, huge expectation on them to be that. And that's where I think that poly or any version of poly that you want to come up with it, because poly is a huge umbrella. There's ethical non-monogamy is a huge umbrella term. You've got your swinger, polyamory, polyfidelity. There's a bunch of different types. So
I
I
like what
believe
you
that.
said about putting this expectation, this burden on somebody. And I look back at the relationships, especially like when I was like a teenager, or 20s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a very imaginative person, you know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of people in the community, they meet somebody and in their head they already have a life with them. They already have like
Yes.
a practical fantasy. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
don't want to mention anybody, but I know some people who just met some people and they're like, "Oh my god, maybe we could do this and maybe we could do that." Like they're
Mm-hmm.
already getting married, and or they're already, you
Unrealistic
know,
expectations. Yeah.
they're buying
I
chastity
tell
paper
people
for them.
you don't marry somebody until you've known them for 2 years and live with them for one. And I won't even subs. I'm telling you, I don't take sub. I am a very I will consider a sub for a long time, 6 months to a year under consideration because the
But
crazy starts coming out at 6 months.
don't you think in like society and like we're kind of built up to have this perfect like this one man, one woman, 2.5 kids, a dog, a picket fence. Like it has to be this way. It has to blah, 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 blah. So that
And
means
the man
you
wears
have to
pants,
get
not a skirt.
you have
Yes.
to get everything from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, and
it's
that's like the
unrealistic.
beauty of
And there's a reason
the
there's
beauty of
failed
kink. We
marriages.
take it out.
Mm.
And the beauty of kink community is that we take that and we're like, okay, well, we could do that and make it this way. We could have a mommy
Mhm.
dom to run the whole house. You know?
Exactly. Yes.
So okay, with
Yes.
that, let's talk about this. Lady Sublime, this is your day. You have endless resources. You have endless amount of money. You could do anything you want, anywhere you want, with anybody you want. What is your ultimate kinky fantasy?
My gosh. Okay. It would be goal oriented to make some sort of educational, inclusive facility for everybody about kink and alt sexuality in Texas. And I would need a lot of money for the legal battles I would be up against. So I wouldn't be living luxuriously and I wouldn't be living fancy. And I'd have a whole legal team behind me. But I would have a nice, warm, welcoming facility for people to practice their kink, for people to learn about kink, a library, teachers, and that they could come for counseling, kink friendly type, counseling. Too many. I had a person tell me that they went to see a psychotherapist about their kink, and the psychotherapist told them that they needed like a conversion type therapy. So some people say that they're kink friendly, but they're not. I don't think anybody needs conversion. So it would be something to leave. And I don't care about a legacy. I don't want people remembering me in the future. I want the services, the building I build and the services that I offer that allow people to become more comfortable with themselves and to express themselves kink sexually, to live forever. And if it's called the Sublime Center for Sexuality, then great. But if they don't remember me, I don't care. I just want my mission to live on.
It almost made me cry. I love that. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, we gotta. All right, rapid fire recommendations. They don't have to be kink related, but they're probably gonna be anyway. Recommend a film.
Oh gosh.
It doesn't have to be the be all end all. Just say this is cool.
I would have to say, I don't know. I would have to say the one that I watched most recently, because I was watching for archetypes in the Academy, was Sharon Stone. She just blows me out of the water every time. She is the coldest. And, she plays and I'm watching a movie right now. Right. Maybe you know what it is. It's a Guy Ritchie, and it just came out recently. She's older. She's, my age, playing the same part she played, a conniving, cool woman. And gosh,
Sharon
I remember the name
Stone.
of it. She's
I'll
got a
get it.
son. She's got a son in the movie. Her son was in a mental facility and somehow lost his arms and legs, and now she's got a vendetta against the psychiatrist that ran the facility or something. And
What about Love, Rita, or let's see what we got.
it's a Guy Ritchie, and boy, it's very much reminds you of Boondock Saints and Snatch and Fight Club when you're watching it. That's it.
The Netflix special? Was she in that?
Yes.
Yeah, the Guy Ritchie movie.
She's the mother. She's the mother, the conniving mother. Every person in this show is a psychopath of some sort, and she's another one. And here she is, decades after playing such a great part in, was it Basic Instinct? Was that it? And here she is playing this.
Recommend a book.
Oh, definitely Mr. Stommy on a Cheese book. Definitely. Yes. I mean, that is just, I even gave it to my daughters.
You know what? I want to get her.
If you need to be empowered, if you need empowerment, read it.
I have a something called the author circle. So anybody who's been on the show, the artistic obstruction of the show is you have to be on the show, to be a guest, a friend of the show, and you have to have written a book. So try to get authors, kinky authors. Yes. We had the second one. We're gonna have a third one. I'd love to have her on. Thank you for my.
Yes. Oh yes. I would love.
All right. Rapid fire recommendations. Recommend a television show. Well, you did the gentleman. We did that. Okay. Recommend a meal. Any kind of meal.
Oh gosh. Okay. I love Tex-Mex and Mexican food, but there's high sodium. So the meals I love the most are homemade. A good pot of beans, some corn tortillas, make some scrambled eggs, mix it in. I mean, I'm serious. I'm a basic cornbread, beans, Southern type. I like basic foods.
Recommend a song.
Phil Lesh just died recently. Long time Grateful Dead, right? And I would have to say, long, strange trip it's been, because it has been for me. What a long, strange trip it's been. But
I was always partial to the song "Doing That Rag" by the Grateful Dead. Everybody's doing that rag.
Doing that rag.
Word association game. All right, here's the rules. I'm gonna say a word, a kink phrase. The rule is you have to say the first thing that comes into your head. All right. So the second rule is no kink shaming. So if I say something, don't go like, "Ew, that's disgusting. You're a horrible human being for even talking about that." You're gonna burn in hell forever. Die, die, die. Don't say that.
I'll definitely not say that.
Just say not my thing. Okay.
Okay.
And then thank you to Natasha. another dominatrix Academy. She got me doing the jar again. This is the jar, and I don't know what's in this jar, so I'm gonna pull stuff out of this jar. And so we're in this together, Lady Sublime. Okay, we're gonna ride together. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Word association. Say the first thing that comes to your mind. Yeah. There's no wrong answer. So if I say chastity, you could say lock. But if I say chastity, you could say Tex-Mex food. Right? There's no wrong answer.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Mutual masturbation.
Exhibitionism.
Okay.
Exhibitionism.
Collars.
Ownership.
Fucking machines.
Doggy style.
Symbionts.
Riding.
Speaking of the fuck machines, the whole sissy hypno thing of like putting a sissy in chastity, guardable stock, like putting a fucking machine on them while they have to like suck a cock and watch like sissy hypno. That is like a whole narrative that's what I think of when I think of fucking machines. All right, French maid outfit. Is that
right?
That's right. French maid outfits.
Sissification.
Okay. Rope.
Predicament bondage.
Oh. Face slapping.
The first thing I think of when I hear that is just the slapping noise, like the actual noise of the slap. I hear the sound.
All right. Human toilet.
Female urinal.
Candle
in order
play.
To guide it down to the face.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That could actually
that way
be
you can
really
guide it down to the face, more like a penis.
Yeah. It always make it like a performance art piece. Candle play.
Drip, I guess, the drip of the wax. I think a drip.
Knife play.
Edge.
Cuckolding.
Voyeurism.
Riding crops.
I crack. The sound of the crack.
All right, we're gonna go into the jar.
Okay.
Oh, this is a tame one. Bondage. Bondage. That's the word.
Okay. The word is bondage. Then I would say leather cuff. Cuff.
Fake eyelashes.
Oh, itch. Like the itch. Like they drive me crazy. I can't wear them.
Vibrating butt plugs.
Remote control.
Oh.
They're fun.
Oh. Alien impregnation.
Oh gosh. An ovoid. Is that what it's called? An ovoid? It's like a dildo that will shoot a little egg. What's it called? Ovipositor. Yes, it reminds me of ovipositor when you say that. It's like the dildo that will shoot those gelatin eggs in you. Yeah.
Shout out to Nico Noir. She has this great story where this sub wrote a whole script, and she had to come out like as an alien and then impregnate him as a
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we got two more. Piss.
Golden showers.
Scat.
Slapping. Slap on the face with the scat. In scat play, that's I know one of my dominatrix, my dom sisters, and that's how she does her scat play: is take it and slap the body and slap the face with it.
Stan's keeping it going. Medical play.
I immediately think of blood, of the bloodline.
Pegging.
I would have to. That brings me to the harness. I want a pink harness or purple leather.
Sensory deprivation.
I immediately think of blindfold and earplugs.
Mummification.
Saran wrap.
Vacuum beds.
think of mummification.
Amy Terrell says alien impregnated equals The Sims 4.
It's boring.
Stan Vladimir, ball gags.
That makes me think of TMJ pain. Some
Oh.
people get it. And so unfortunately, I didn't get a good. Brett, let me tell you, boob tape works well for that. People with TMJ.
Interesting,
It's
yeah,
boob
because
tape
I
over.
get if I wear a ball gag, yeah, like it hurts my teeth because of the liver
Mhm.
transplant stuff like that. My teeth are all messed up. I know I could
Yeah, yeah.
improve and stuff. I'm working on it.
That's
You
the
know, it's like-
inflammation. Yeah, yeah.
What?
Ball gag tape. I
Yeah.
mean, breast tape.
So
Breast tape.
yeah, what's it called?
Just
Breast
it's
tape?
called boob tape or breast tape. It's what women can form at, like when you have a real low cut blouse, you can use this type tape to tape yourself up and make it look like you're wearing a bra. I've never gotten it to work right. I mean, I bought this whole roll and ended up using it to tape people's mouths. I never could get that stuff to work right, but movie stars know how to make it work. YouTube ladies know how to make it work.
Sunshine says your ultimate kinky fantasy is
Aw.
beautiful and admirable. Love your thoughts on that, especially in Texas, but we need that
Yes.
everywhere with legal stuff to fight for our kinky rights. Well said.
Exactly.
Well said. Well said. Okay, we
Mhm.
got some.
Mhm.
All right. What are your thoughts?
You gotta,
I
gotta
did.
fight for our
What are
right
your?
for kinky.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the questions. Do you have anybody in
You
chastity
faded.
now?
You faded out.
Hello. You still there? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I got you. Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can definitely hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
No, I don't have anybody that's in. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't have anybody that's in permanent chastity. We'll play
Mhm.
chastity for a day or two. I'm one of those that I know someone who's been in chastity for over 400 days, and more power to him. But I know also that as men age, and I deal with older people, myself being over 60, your prostate can swell if you don't have a release often enough. So
Oh yeah.
I get concerned with that with older people, and especially if they've had prostate issues before. So I think a long-term chastity for older people depends on their health. And I don't have anybody in long-term chastity now. We will play for a day or two or something like that, and then
Yeah. I
because
mean, it's when I
it's kind of my
play,
kink to
a
make
couple of
them.
days is
So,
great. Like seriously, a couple of days is great. There's a whole cycle to it.
mhm.
There's a like it comes in
It
waves and like
intensifies orgasms. Yes, it intensifies your orgasm.
yeah, and it's a couple of days. It doesn't have to be. I mean, to each his own. Seriously, to each his own. Kick your own way. But for me personally, a couple yeah, just
Exactly
yeah.
what
It's
works
a
for you.
big tease. It's a big tease. All right, we're wrapping things up. All right. How can kinky people make money?
Yes. Yes.
Not everybody's as beautiful as you. Not everybody has that wrist that you have. You know.
Oh, well, there's the education. I would say there are a lot of people out there that here's the deal. A lot of people they think that lifestyle, that everything about kink should be lifestyle. And for a long time, I do agree with that to a certain degree. I've also had so many come to me saying, I can't find a good Dom. I can't find a good Dom. And sometimes you are going to get what you pay for. And as much as I don't like charging for my kink, it costs a lot of money for education and travel and stuff. And so I'm not getting rich off of it. I know there are a lot of doms who like the finest of everything and the most expensive everything. I'm so happy if I go to a consignment shop and find a bargain. Look at this polo shirt, never been worn. I paid $2. I'm going to brag on it. So I'm not that type, but there is a certain point where you will get what you pay for. So uh, find something you can do. I would say in education, making kinky tools, making kinky outfits, sewing, jewelry, t-shirts. If you don't feel like actually getting into, domination, submission, or, spanking or whatever, topping, bottoming, there's a whole bunch of peripheral stuff out there, writing. And some people will pay. Those people who have finally gotten to the point in their lives where they're tired of those that weren't right for them, and they're tired of the fakes, and they're tired of those that are just not competent or not trained enough, will start paying for it. And remember, not everybody is out there to make thousands of dollars. There are some people out there just trying to to pay their bills and spread the good word. So keep looking.
So we're gonna wrap it up. We're all looking for something. You know, the kink. Throughout the years, I realized it's about connection, feeling. You know, there's loneliness, and there's just we need each other.
Yes.
And we're all on a journey. We're looking for something. So, what do you want? Where do you want your kinky path to take you next?
You know, every time I try to plan my future, something derails it. It's like I'm swimming against a current and something goes wrong and I end up working harder instead of smarter. So I've started almost taking it day by day. I'm not real sure where I want my kinky path to take me next, but all I know is that ever since I stopped trying to control it and just let the universe do what it's going to do, my path has taken me in places I didn't really think I would go, but I'm better off being there. So I've kind of let go. And each day I kind of find out where my path is going to be. Right now, I want it to take me to travel and to spank a lot of people and spread the kink word in a lot of places. But I'm not going to set that in stone so that if it doesn't happen, I'm not real disappointed. And I'm just going to go with the flow. You know, like water, I try to take the path of least resistance and I'm just going to go with it. Let the universe guide me.
Those are truly sublime words, lady. I mean, seriously, this has been a magical interview for me. It's very enlightening. Hopefully, it's inspiring for other people too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your time. And I thank everybody watching for your time. Right before Christmas, I know everybody's busy. Thank you. Hanukkah, everything.
Well, I think this is a warm way, a great way to set us off for the holiday. Everybody out there who is celebrating, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, it affects you. You know what I mean? So
yes.
You know,
I'm pagan and I still say I'm celebrating Christmas. So Hanukkah, Yule, it's all a big party at the holiday time. So let's have fun.
So just to everybody out there, you know, you're kinky. So that means there are other kinky people out there. That means you've got family all over the world. You know,
kink sexuals unite.
Happy holidays, everybody, and happy New Year. Where can people get in touch? Where can people get in touch with you? People promote you. People, well, let's say people just want to give you money. Where can they do that?
That'd be great. I am on Gift Hero, and you can go to my website, lady-sublime.com, lady-sublime.com, and I'm there on Gift Hero. My links are there. You can send me a message in the contact form, and thank you. It was a pleasure being here. I appreciate all your time.
Stan Vladimir coming through. Please give Stan some love, everybody. He does all the artwork. He works very hard for the show, and he does it for the love of kink. And
thank you.
Absolutely, very talented, and just a
good job,
straight up
good
person too. And it's there are a lot of people out there. Not all of them are good. Stan's one of the good ones. It was a pleasure seeing you, Lady Sublime. Wishing you a happy holidays and happy New Year. Everybody, please. Go to yourkinkyfriends.com. Go to patreon.com/YKF.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you very much. Go to Locked in Lust. Get 15% off. Play around with chastity. This is a perfect way to, this is an inexpensive way. You can, play around with it, and then you find the one that fits, and then lock it up. And have some fun, and then unlock it, and then lock it again, and then unlock it, and unlock it again. It's great. Buy a book. Read a book. Not many people read enough. Knowledge is power. Most way to kill yourself. No one kills it. It's not. This is not a post-suicide book.
Yes.
It's a love story. It's a beautiful love story of expression. And it's true. This book, Your Kinky Friends. If you're dealing with grief, especially, please read this book. A lot of people are dealing with loss in their lives, and writing this book, that's helped me with loss and friendship. Your Kinky Friends has helped me with loss. I've lost way too many people in my life, people who I've loved. I wish they were here.
Yeah,
So the only thing I can do is write about them
they are.
and
They're
have their
watching.
spirit live on. So everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.